Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Enjoy English with Nora and Liam. I'm Liam.
And I'm Nora. We're so happy you're here today. If you're ready to sound more natural in English, you're in exactly the right place.
Let me ask you a simple question. Imagine you just finished a long day. Maybe you were at work. Maybe you were at school. Maybe you spent the whole day cleaning your house. Or maybe you were taking care of your family. A friend walks up to you and asks, "How are you?" What do you usually say?
Most English learners answer, I'm tired. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that sentence. It's correct. Native speakers say it too. But here's the problem. Many English learners use those same two words every single day.
Exactly. Yesterday, I'm tired. Today, I'm tired. Tomorrow, I'm tired. After a few weeks, it becomes your only way to describe your feelings. But real English is much more colorful than that. Native speakers don't always say, "I'm tired." They have many different expressions. Each one tells a slightly different story.
Think about it this way. Imagine someone gives you only one color to paint a picture. Just one color. Could you paint a beautiful sunset? Probably not. You need many colors, different shades, different styles. English vocabulary works the same way. The more words you know, the better you can express yourself.
That's exactly what we're going to do today. By the end of this lesson, you'll know 8 natural expressions that native English speakers use when they don't want to say, "I'm tired." And you'll be surprised because it's one you've probably heard before, but maybe you've never used correctly.
This lesson is perfect for beginners and intermediate learners too. So don't worry if English still feels difficult. Take your time, listen carefully, repeat after us whenever you can. Remember, learning English isn't a race, it's a journey. Every new word you learn makes you a little stronger.
Before we start, here's a small challenge for everyone listening. Today, don't just listen, speak with us. Whenever you hear a new expression, pause the video if you need to. Say it out loud. Repeat it 2 or 3 times. Because speaking, not just listening, is how fluency grows.
And don't worry about making mistakes. Every fluent English speaker made thousands of mistakes while learning. Mistakes are not your enemy, they're actually your teachers. Every mistake shows you something new. So today, let's enjoy learning together. No pressure, no fear, just simple, natural, everyday English.
Now, here's another interesting question. Are all kinds of tiredness the same? Think about it for a moment. When you stay awake until 2 o'clock in the morning, how do you feel? And how do you feel after carrying heavy boxes for 2 hours? Those don't feel exactly the same, do they?
Not at all. Sometimes your body feels tired. Sometimes your mind feels tired. Sometimes your eyes want to close. Sometimes your muscles hurt. Sometimes you've worked all day, but somehow you still have more things to do. Each feeling is different, and English has different expressions for each.
That's one of the reasons native speakers sound so natural. They choose words that match the situation. Instead of using one expression for everything, they choose the perfect one. And today, you're going to learn how to do exactly that.
Don't try to memorize everything immediately. Just understand the meaning. Enjoy the conversation. The more often you hear these expressions, the more naturally they'll become part of your English. That's how language learning really works. Little by little, day by day, conversation by conversation.
So, are you ready? Let's discover the first expression that native English speakers use when they don't want to say, "I'm tired." And you'll be surprised because it's one you've probably heard before, but maybe you've never used correctly. All right, let's begin with our very first expression. It's short, it's easy, and native speakers use it almost every day. The expression is, I'm sleepy. Let's say it together. I'm sleepy. One more time. I'm sleepy. Very nice. Now, many English learners think I'm sleepy and I'm tired mean exactly the same thing, but they don't. There is a small yet very important difference.
That's right. When you say, I'm sleepy, you're not just saying you have low energy. You're saying, I want to sleep. Your eyes feel heavy, you keep yawning, you can hardly stay awake. Your body is telling you it's time for bed. That's what I'm sleepy really means.
Let's imagine something together. It's 11:30 at night. You've brushed your teeth, you've changed into comfortable clothes, you're watching one last video on your phone. But every few seconds, your eyes begin to close. You yawn, you stretch, and finally you say, I'm sleepy. I'm going to bed. That sounds completely natural.
Now imagine a different situation. You've been carrying heavy boxes all afternoon. Your arms hurt, your legs hurt, you're sweating, but it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you want to sleep? Maybe not. You just need a little rest. So would you say, I'm sleepy? No, probably not. In that situation, another expression would be better, and we'll learn those later.
Here's a useful tip. Whenever you hear the word sleepy, think about one simple question. Do I want to sleep right now? If the answer is yes, then I'm sleepy is probably the perfect expression. If the answer is no, then another phrase might fit better. It's that simple.
Now let's practice with a few everyday situations. Situation number 1. A little child is watching cartoons. Slowly, the child starts rubbing their eyes. Their head begins to fall forward. Their mother smiles and asks, Are you okay? The child answers, I am sleepy. Perfect. That sounds completely natural.
Situation number 2. You stayed awake until 3 in the morning studying for an exam. The next morning, your teacher says, You look tired today. You smile and answer, Yeah, I'm really sleepy today. Again, that's exactly the right expression.
Situation number 3. You're sitting on a train after work. The train is quiet, the seat is comfortable, the weather is cool. You close your eyes for just a second, then you smile and think, I'm getting sleepy. Notice something. We didn't say, I am sleepy. We said, I'm getting sleepy. That means the feeling is starting now, little by little. Native speakers use this expression all the time.
Exactly. Listen to these examples. This movie is making me sleepy. The warm weather makes me sleepy. That big lunch made me sleepy. Reading in bed always makes me sleepy. Can you hear the pattern? Many different things can make you sleepy.
Now let's learn another useful sentence. Instead of saying, I'm sleepy, you can also say, I'm feeling sleepy. Let's repeat it. I'm feeling sleepy. This sounds a little softer, a little more conversational. Native speakers love saying, I'm feeling, because it describes how they feel at that moment. For example, I'm feeling hungry. I'm feeling cold. I'm feeling nervous. And of course, I'm feeling sleepy.
Now let's talk about one common mistake. Many learners use I'm sleepy every time they feel tired. But remember, this expression is mostly about sleep, not hard work, not exercise, not stress, not mental exhaustion, just sleep. If you've been working for 10 hours, you might not be sleepy. You might simply have no energy. Those are different feelings, and English has different words for them.
Let's play a quick guessing game. We'll describe a situation. You decide should we say, I'm sleepy or not. Ready? It's midnight. You've watched 2 movies. You're yawning every minute. Should you say, I'm sleepy? Yes, perfect. Now another one. You cleaned your entire house for 6 hours. You're sweaty, your back hurts, but it's still early afternoon. Should you say, I'm sleepy? Probably not. You'll need another expression. We'll learn it very soon.
Here's a pronunciation tip. Listen carefully. Sleepy. Not slippy, not sleppy. The middle sound is long. Sleepy. Let's say it slowly. Sleepy. Again, sleepy. Excellent. Now say the whole sentence. I'm sleepy. Wonderful.
Now let's finish with a short conversation. Listen carefully.
Wow, it's almost midnight already. I didn't realize the time.
Me neither. We've been talking for hours.
I keep yawning. I'm getting really sleepy.
Me too. I think it's time to go home.
Good idea. I'll probably fall asleep as soon as I get into bed.
Same here. Good night and sleep well.
That conversation sounded simple, but that's exactly how real English works. Simple words, natural conversations. Now that you know when to use I'm sleepy, it's time to learn an expression that's much stronger. One that tells people you have almost no energy left at all. And you'll hear native speakers use it after long work days, busy weekends, and difficult challenges. Let's discover that expression together next. Now that we've learned when to say I'm sleepy, let's move to our second expression. This one is much stronger. Native speakers use it almost every day. The expression is, I'm exhausted. Let's say it together. I'm exhausted. One more time. I'm exhausted. Excellent. This is one of the most useful words you can add to your English vocabulary.
That's true. When you say, I'm exhausted, you're telling someone, I have almost no energy left. Not just a little tired, not just a little sleepy. You feel completely worn out. Your body or your mind has worked very hard, and now you need a real break.
Think about a phone battery. When your battery is at 80%, everything works perfectly. At 50%, you're still okay. At 20%, you start looking for a charger. But when your battery reaches 1%, you become worried. That's exactly how I'm exhausted feels. Your energy battery is almost empty.
Let's imagine a real-life situation. You leave your house at 7 in the morning. You work all day. You answer emails, you attend meetings, you solve problems. Then you drive home through heavy traffic. Finally, you open your front door. Your family asks, how was work? Instead of saying, I'm tired, you smile and say, I'm exhausted. That sounds very natural.
Exactly. Native speakers use this word all the time. Listen to these examples. I'm exhausted after work. She's exhausted after taking care of the kids all day. We are exhausted after moving into our new house. He's exhausted because he didn't sleep last night. Notice something. The reason can be different, but the feeling is always very strong.
Here's something interesting. You can be physically exhausted or mentally exhausted. Let's look at both. Imagine you spend 5 hours hiking in the mountains. Your legs hurt, your feet hurt, you're breathing heavily. You say, I'm exhausted. That's physical exhaustion. Now imagine something different. You spend the whole day solving difficult math problems or preparing for an important exam. Your body feels okay, but your mind feels like it needs a vacation. You can still say, I'm exhausted, because your mind has worked very hard.
That's why this word is so useful. It works in many situations: work, school, sports, travel, family life. Almost everyone says, I'm exhausted at some point.
Now let's compare two sentences. Sentence number 1, I'm tired. Sentence number 2, I'm exhausted. Which one sounds stronger? Definitely, I'm exhausted. Think of it like this. If tired is level 5, exhausted is level 10. It tells people your energy is almost gone.
Here's another tip. Native speakers often add extra words. For example, I'm completely exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm totally exhausted today. I'm so exhausted today. Those little words make the feeling even stronger. Listen carefully. I'm completely exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. Both sound very natural.
Now let's practice. I'll describe a situation. You decide if I'm exhausted fits. Ready? You ran a marathon this morning. You crossed the finish line. Your whole body feels weak. Would you say, I'm exhausted? Absolutely. Perfect. Now another one. You watched television for 20 minutes. Would you say, I'm exhausted? Probably not. That's too strong. You might just say, I'm a little tired, or maybe I'm sleepy. Choosing the right expression helps you sound more like a native speaker.
Here's a pronunciation tip. Many learners worry about this word. Let's make it easy. Break it into 3 parts. Egg, host, id. Now say it slowly. Egg, host, id. Again, egg, host, id. Don't rush. Take your time. Now the whole sentence. I'm exhausted. Very nice.
Let's learn another useful sentence. Instead of saying, I'm exhausted, you can also say, I'm feeling exhausted today, or I feel exhausted. Listen again. I feel exhausted after work. I'm feeling exhausted this evening. Both are common in everyday English.
Now let's look at one common mistake. Some learners think I'm exhausted means I'm sick. Not at all. You can be perfectly healthy and still be exhausted. Maybe you've just had a busy day. Maybe you've traveled for 12 hours. Maybe you've been studying since early morning. Exhausted simply describes your energy, nothing more.
Let's enjoy another short conversation. Listen carefully. Hey Nora, do you want to go shopping after work?
Honestly, I'd love to, but I'm completely exhausted today.
Long day?
Very long. I had 4 meetings, answered more than 100 emails, and then drove home through traffic.
Wow, that sounds exhausting. Maybe you should relax tonight.
I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. A nice dinner, a warm shower, and an early bedtime.
That sounds like the perfect plan.
Notice something. Nobody in that conversation said, I'm tired. Instead, they used a more specific word, a more natural word. That's how native speakers make conversations more interesting. They choose vocabulary that paints a clearer picture.
So today, you've learned 2 expressions. I'm sleepy and I'm exhausted. One tells people you need sleep. The other tells people your energy is almost completely gone. Both are useful, but they describe different feelings. And knowing the difference will make your English sound much more natural.
Next, we're going to learn one of the most common casual expressions in American English. It's short, it's friendly, and you'll hear it in movies, TV shows, and everyday conversations all the time. Let's discover that expression together. We've already learned I'm sleepy and I'm exhausted. Now it's time for expression number 3. This one is very common in everyday American English. It's short, it's casual, and native speakers love using it. The expression is, I'm beat. Let's say it together. I'm beat. One more time. I'm beat. Excellent. You may only hear 2 words, but they can tell a big story.
That's right. When someone says, I'm beat, they mean, I've worked really hard. I have almost no energy left. But unlike, I'm exhausted, this expression sounds much more relaxed, much more friendly. It's the kind of phrase you use with friends, family, or people you know well.
Imagine it's Saturday afternoon. You decided to clean your entire apartment. You washed the windows, you vacuumed every room, you cleaned the kitchen, you organized your closet. 6 hours later, everything looks beautiful, but your body feels like it wants to lie down. Your friend calls and says, Hey Liam, do you want to play basketball? You laugh and answer, No way, I'm beat. That sounds exactly like real everyday English.
Here's something interesting. The word beat usually means to win against someone. For example, our team beat the other team. But in this expression, I'm beat, it has a completely different meaning. It means the day has defeated me. My work has used up all my energy. Of course, no one actually defeated you. It's just a fun way to describe how you feel.
Let's hear some natural examples. I'm beat after today's soccer practice. We're beat after walking around the city all day. She's beat after taking care of her baby. Dad's beat after fixing the roof. Can you hear how relaxed these sentences sound? Native speakers use them every day.
Now let's compare three expressions. I'm sleepy. You need sleep. I'm exhausted. Your energy is almost completely gone. I'm beat. You've worked hard and now you're ready to rest. The meanings are similar, but each one creates a different picture. That's why learning several expressions helps you sound much more natural.
Here's another situation. Imagine you're on vacation. You spend the whole day visiting museums. You walk for 12 kilometers. You take hundreds of pictures. By evening, your friend asks, "How are you feeling?" You smile, stretch your legs, and say, "I'm beat. Let's find a place to eat." That's exactly how many native speakers would answer.
Let's learn a few useful sentences. I'm really beat today. I'm so beat after work. You look beat. You must be beat after your trip. Notice something. Native speakers often say, you look beat. It's another way of saying, you look very tired. Maybe someone has dark circles under their eyes, maybe they're moving slowly, maybe they yawn every few minutes. You might smile and ask, are you okay? You look beat.
Now let's practice together. I'll describe a situation. You decide, does "I'm beat" fit? Ready? You played tennis for 3 hours in the hot sun. Would you say, "I'm beat"? Absolutely. That's a perfect situation. Now another one. You just woke up after sleeping for 9 hours. Would you say, "I'm beat"? No, probably not. You've just rested, so this expression wouldn't make sense.
Here's a pronunciation tip. Listen carefully. Beat. It's only one syllable. Don't say be at, just beat. Again, beat. Now the whole sentence. I'm beat. Very nice, simple, clear, and natural.
Now let's imagine another conversation. Listen carefully. Hey Nora, how was your weekend?
It was fun, but very busy. We moved into our new apartment.
Really? That must have been a lot of work.
It really was. We carried furniture all day, we unpacked dozens of boxes. By the evening, I was completely beat.
I believe it. Did you at least order pizza instead of cooking?
Of course, there was no way I was cooking after all that work. Now listen to another conversation.
Do you want to watch another movie?
Honestly, I don't think I can. I'm beat.
Long day?
Very long. I went shopping, visited my parents, cleaned the house, and finished a work project. Now I just want to relax.
Then let's save the movie for tomorrow.
Notice how easy that sounded. Nobody used difficult grammar, nobody used complicated vocabulary, just simple, natural English. That's one reason native speakers sound fluent. They don't always use long words. Sometimes the simplest expressions are the most natural.
Here's another useful tip. Because "I'm beat" is informal, it's better to use it with friends, family, or classmates. If you're speaking to your boss during an important business meeting, you'll probably choose "I'm exhausted" or "I'm very tired." Those sound a little more professional. Choosing the right expression depends on the situation. So today, your English vocabulary became even stronger. You now know three excellent alternatives to "I'm tired." I'm sleepy, I'm exhausted, and I'm beat. Three different situations, three different meanings, three expressions that native speakers use every single day.
But what if you've had such a busy day that it feels like someone erased every bit of your energy? There's another expression that's very visual, very descriptive, and very common in everyday conversations. You'll hear it after long trips, busy weekends, or days when everything seems to happen at once. Let's learn that expression together next.
Welcome back. So far, we've learned 3 useful expressions. I'm sleepy, I'm exhausted, and I'm beat. Now it's time for expression number 4. This one creates a very clear picture in your mind. Native speakers say, I'm wiped out. Let's say it together. I'm wiped out. One more time. I'm wiped out. Excellent. This is one of those expressions that sounds very natural in everyday English.
It really does. When someone says, I'm wiped out, they mean, I have no energy left. It feels as if the day has taken everything from you. Imagine writing something on a whiteboard. Then someone takes an eraser and wipes it completely clean. Nothing is left. That's the idea behind this expression. Your energy has been wiped away.
I love that image. It's so easy to remember. Instead of thinking about batteries or sleep, think about a clean whiteboard. Everything has been erased. That's how your energy feels. You have nothing left to give.
Let's imagine a real situation. You just returned from a 12-hour flight. You waited in long airport lines, you carried heavy bags, you changed planes twice. Finally, you arrive at your hotel. The receptionist smiles and says, Welcome, how was your trip? You smile politely and answer, It was a long journey. I'm completely wiped out. That sounds very natural.
Here's another example. Imagine it's Sunday evening. You spent the whole weekend helping your friend move into a new house. You carried furniture, you unpacked boxes, you cleaned every room. Now you finally sit on the sofa. Your friend asks, How are you feeling? You laugh and say, Honestly, I'm wiped out. Anyone listening immediately understands you worked incredibly hard.
Now let's compare I'm exhausted and I'm wiped out. Their meanings are very similar. Both describe very low energy. But I'm wiped out sounds a little more conversational, a little more expressive. Many native speakers choose it when talking with friends or family.
Here are a few more examples. We're wiped out after our road trip. She's wiped out after looking after the kids all weekend. I'm wiped out after today's football match. He's completely wiped out after working in the garden all afternoon. Can you hear the pattern? This expression often follows a long activity, a busy day, or something that required a lot of energy.
Here is another useful phrase. Instead of saying, I'm wiped out, you can also hear people say, that trip wiped me out. Or, today's work really wiped me out. Listen carefully. That meeting wiped me out. Cleaning the garage wiped me out. Now the activity becomes the subject. It's a very natural sentence pattern.
Let's practice. I'll describe a situation. You decide if I'm wiped out is a good answer. Ready? You spent 8 hours hiking in the mountains. When you finally reach home, would you say, I'm wiped out? Absolutely, that's a perfect situation. Now another one. You answered 2 short emails this morning. Would you say, I'm wiped out? Probably not. That activity doesn't require enough energy. Native speakers usually save this expression for bigger efforts.
Now let's work on pronunciation. Listen carefully. Wiped out. Notice the connection. Native speakers don't stop between the two words. They often say wiped out, almost like one word. Let's practice slowly. Wiped out. Again, wiped out. Now the whole sentence. I'm wiped out. Excellent.
Now let's listen to another conversation. Hey Nora, how was your vacation?
It was wonderful. We visited 5 cities in 6 days.
Wow, that sounds exciting.
It really was, but we walked everywhere, sometimes 15 or 20,000 steps a day. By the time we got home, we were completely wiped out.
I believe it. Did you spend the next day resting?
Almost the whole day. I don't think I even left the house. Here's another conversation.
Do you want to cook dinner tonight?
Can we order something instead? I'm wiped out after work.
Of course. You worked late again?
Yes, I had meetings all afternoon and then I stayed late to finish a project.
Then tonight is definitely a takeout night.
That sounds perfect.
Now here's a small challenge. Listen to these 4 expressions. I'm sleepy, I'm exhausted, I'm beat, I'm wiped out. Can you hear how each one creates a slightly different picture? That's exactly how native speakers communicate. They don't always choose the same words. They choose the expression that best matches the situation. The more expressions you know, the easier it becomes to sound natural.
Here's another tip for improving your English. Don't try to memorize all 8 expressions today. Instead, pick one. Use it this week. Say it after work, say it after exercise, say it while practicing English. Then next week, add another expression. Learning one useful phrase at a time is much easier than trying to remember everything at once.
You've already learned 4 excellent alternatives to I'm tired, and we're only halfway through today's lesson. The next expression is especially interesting because it isn't really about your body, it's about your mind. Sometimes your body feels fine, but your brain feels completely empty. If you've ever finished a difficult exam, worked on a challenging project, or spent hours solving problems, you've probably experienced this feeling. Let's learn how native speakers describe it next. Welcome back. So far, our vocabulary list is getting stronger. We've learned I'm sleepy, I'm exhausted, I'm beat, and I'm wiped out. Now it's time for expression number 5. This one's a little different because today we're not talking about your body. We're talking about your mind. The expression is, I'm drained. Let's say it together. I'm drained. One more time. I'm drained. Excellent.
This is one of my favorite expressions because it describes something almost everyone experiences. Sometimes your body feels okay. You can still walk, you can still move, but your brain says, I need a break. You've been thinking, solving problems, making decisions, or concentrating for hours, and now your mind feels empty. That's when native speakers often say, I'm drained.
Imagine your phone battery again. In the morning, it's 100%. As the day goes on, the battery slowly gets lower. You answer messages, watch videos, use maps, take pictures. Little by little, the battery goes down. Eventually, it's almost empty. That's exactly what happens to your brain. After hours of thinking, your mental battery feels drained.
The word drain means to let something flow out. Imagine filling a bucket with water. Then you pull out the plug. Little by little, all the water disappears. The bucket becomes empty. That's the picture behind this expression. Your energy has slowly disappeared.
Let's imagine a real situation. You're a university student. Today you had a math class, a science class, an English exam, and then 3 hours of studying in the library. When you finally arrive home, your mother asks, How was your day? You smile, drop your backpack, and say, I'm mentally drained. That sounds very natural.
Notice something important. Sometimes native speakers simply say, I'm drained. Other times they say, I'm mentally drained. Adding the word mentally makes your meaning even clearer. It tells people your brain needs rest, not necessarily your body.
Here are some natural examples. I'm drained after today's meeting. She's emotionally drained. He's mentally drained after studying all day. We're drained after planning this event. Can you hear something? The reason isn't always physical work. Sometimes thinking is just as tiring as lifting heavy boxes.
That's something many English learners forget. Mental work can be exhausting too. Imagine you're preparing for an important interview. You spend hours practicing answers, researching the company, reading notes, trying not to forget anything. By the evening, your brain feels completely full. You could naturally say, I'm drained. I need to relax for a while.
Let's compare 2 expressions. I'm exhausted and I'm drained. Both describe low energy. But I'm exhausted often describes your whole body or both body and mind, while I'm drained usually focuses more on your mental or emotional energy. It's a small difference, but it's a useful one.
Let's practice together. I'll describe a situation. You decide, does "I'm drained" fit? Ready? You spent 4 hours taking an important exam. Your head hurts, you don't want to think anymore. Would you say, "I'm drained"? Absolutely. That's a perfect answer. Now, another one. You slept all afternoon. Would you say, "I'm drained"? Probably not. You've been resting, so the expression doesn't fit.
Here's another everyday situation. Imagine you're a teacher. You spent the whole day answering students' questions, explaining grammar, checking homework, helping everyone. When you finally reach home, you don't feel sleepy. You don't even feel physically exhausted. But your brain says, please, no more questions today. That's exactly when you might say, I'm drained.
Now let's work on pronunciation. Listen carefully. Drained. Notice the ending. Drained, not drained, just drained. Again, drained. Now the whole sentence. I'm drained. Excellent.
Native speakers also use this expression in emotional situations. For example, imagine your friend has been worried about a family problem for several weeks. Someone asks, how are you doing? Your friend answers, honestly, I'm emotionally drained. That doesn't mean they're physically tired. It means their emotions have used up their energy. This expression is very common.
Let's listen to another conversation. Hey, Nora, you don't seem very talkative today. Everything okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just mentally drained. Busy day? Very busy. I had meetings all morning, then I spent hours preparing tomorrow's presentation. My brain feels completely full. I know that feeling. Maybe it's time to stop working for today. I think you're right. Sometimes the best thing we can do is take a break.
Here's another conversation. How did your English exam go? I think I did well, but wow, I'm drained. Those exams really make you think. Exactly. Right now, I don't want to look at another grammar book. I just want to relax. You've earned it. Go enjoy your evening.
Let's review everything we've learned so far. When you want to sleep, you can say, "I'm sleepy." When your energy is almost gone, you can say, "I'm exhausted." When you've worked hard and you're talking casually, you can say, "I'm beat." When the day has completely used up your energy, you can say, "I'm wiped out." And when your brain or emotions have no energy left, you can say, "I'm drained." Can you see how much more colorful your English has become?
And we still have 3 more fantastic expressions to learn. The next one is something you'll hear almost every day, especially late at night. It's longer than the expressions we've learned so far, but it's very easy to understand because it creates a picture that everyone recognizes immediately. Let's learn that expression together next. Welcome back. You've already learned 5 natural ways to replace I'm tired. And now it's time for expression number 6. This one is a little longer, but don't worry, it's very easy to understand because it creates a picture that everyone knows. The expression is, I can barely keep my eyes open. Let's say it together. I can barely keep my eyes open. One more time. I can barely keep my eyes open. Excellent. It may sound like a long sentence, but native speakers use it all the time.
Let's begin with one important word, barely. What does barely mean? It means only just, almost not. Imagine you're carrying a heavy box. It's so heavy that you can barely lift it. Or imagine someone speaks very quietly. You can barely hear them. Now think about your eyes. They're so heavy that you can barely keep them open. That's the meaning of today's expression.
Picture this. It's 11:45 at night. You've had a very busy day. You've finished work, cooked dinner, helped your children with homework, cleaned the kitchen, and now you're sitting on the sofa watching television. Suddenly, you yawn. Then you yawn again. Your eyes begin to close. You try to stay awake, but it's becoming impossible. You smile and say, I can barely keep my eyes open. That's exactly how native speakers use this expression.
Notice something. This expression isn't only about being tired, it's about fighting sleep. You're trying to stay awake, but your body is whimming. Your eyelids feel heavier every single minute. That's why this expression creates such a clear picture.
Let's hear some natural examples. I've been studying for 6 hours. I can barely keep my eyes open. It's been a long day. I can barely keep my eyes open. After that movie, I could barely keep my eyes open. Let's go home. I can barely keep my eyes open. Can you hear how natural those sentences sound?
Here's another useful situation. Imagine you're driving home after a long day. You notice you're getting sleepy. Your eyes feel heavy. What should you do? The safe choice is pull over somewhere safe, take a break, or let someone else drive. And later, you might tell your friend, I was so sleepy, I could barely keep my eyes open.
Now, let's compare two expressions. I'm sleepy and I can barely keep my eyes open. Both are about sleep, but today's expression is much stronger. Think of it this way. If I'm sleepy is level 6, then I can barely keep my eyes open is level 10. You're almost falling asleep.
Let's practice together. I'll describe a situation. You decide if today's expression fits. Ready? You've been awake for 24 hours because of a long flight. Your eyes close every few seconds. Would you say, I can barely keep my eyes open? Absolutely. Perfect. Now another one. You woke up 30 minutes ago after a good night's sleep. Would you use today's expression? Of course not. You're probably full of energy.
Here's another useful pronunciation tip. Listen carefully. Barely, not barely, just barely. Again, barely. Now the whole sentence. I can barely keep my eyes open. Excellent. Take your time. It's a longer sentence, but after a little practice, it becomes very easy.
Now let's enjoy another conversation. Hey Nora, do you want to watch one more episode?
Honestly, I don't think I can. I can barely keep my eyes open.
Really? You're that sleepy?
Yes, I woke up at 5 this morning. I've been busy all day.
Then let's finish the series tomorrow.
That's a much better idea. Here's another one. How's your exam preparation going?
Pretty well. I've been studying since this afternoon, but now I can barely keep my eyes open.
Then your brain probably needs a break.
I agree. I'll study again tomorrow morning. Sometimes sleeping is the best way to learn.
I couldn't agree more.
That's actually a great learning tip. Many people think studying longer always means learning more, but that's not true. When you're extremely sleepy, your brain doesn't learn very well. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is get some rest, then come back tomorrow with fresh energy.
Let's do one more quick practice. I'll say a situation, you imagine the best expression. Ready? You're watching a movie at midnight. You yawn 5 times in 2 minutes. Your eyes keep closing. What would you say? Exactly. I can barely keep my eyes open. Excellent. Now another one. You've spent all day solving difficult problems. Your head feels tired. Your body feels okay. Which expression fits? That's right. I'm drained. Fantastic. You're already learning to choose the right expression for the right situation.
Let's review all 6 expressions together. When you want to sleep, say, I'm sleepy. When your energy is almost gone, say, I'm exhausted. When you've worked hard and you're talking casually, say, I'm beat. When a busy day has taken away all your energy, say, I'm wiped out. When your brain feels empty, say, I'm drained. And when you're almost falling asleep, say, I can barely keep my eyes open.
Your English vocabulary is becoming richer, more natural, and much closer to the way native speakers really talk.
But we're not finished yet. The next expression is short, very informal, and you'll hear it in countless American movies, TV shows, and conversations between close friends. It's a powerful way to say you're extremely tired. Let's learn that expression together next.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's quickly remember what we've learned so far. We started with, I'm sleepy, when you feel like you want to sleep. Then we learned, I'm exhausted, when your energy is almost completely gone. After that, I'm beat, a casual way to say you worked hard. Then, I'm wiped out, when a busy day takes away all your energy. Next, I'm drained when your mind or emotions feel empty. And finally, I can barely keep my eyes open when you're fighting sleep. These expressions are already making your English much more natural, but we still have two powerful expressions left.
That's right. And our next expression is very interesting because at first, it might sound a little strange. The expression is, I'm dead tired. Let's say it together. I'm dead tired. Again, I'm dead tired. Now, don't worry, the word dead here does not have a scary meaning. In informal English, native speakers sometimes use dead to mean very or extremely.
Exactly. You might hear people say, that movie was dead boring, meaning the movie was extremely boring. Or it's dead easy, meaning it's very easy. And when someone says, I'm dead tired, they simply mean I'm extremely tired, nothing more. It's just a strong informal expression.
Let's imagine a situation. You have had the busiest week of your life. Monday, you had important meetings. Tuesday, you worked late. Wednesday, you had a big presentation. Thursday, you had many responsibilities. And finally, Friday evening arrives. Your friend asks, do you want to go out tonight? You smile and say, sorry, I'm dead tired. I just want to relax at home. That sounds very natural.
But here's something important. I'm dead tired is informal. That means it's great with friends, it's great with family, it's great in casual conversations, but you probably shouldn't use it in every situation. For example, imagine you're in a professional meeting. Your manager asks, how was your week? You probably don't want to say, I'm dead tired. A better choice would be, I'm very tired, or it's been a long week.
Choosing the right expression is a very important part of speaking natural English. Native speakers don't just know words, they know when to use them, where to use them, and who to use them with. That's what makes communication smooth.
Let's look at some examples. After working 12 hours, I'm dead tired. The kids were dead tired after playing outside all day. I'm dead tired, but I still need to finish this project. We were dead tired after the long journey. Notice this expression often comes after something difficult, something that uses a lot of energy.
Now let's compare I'm exhausted and I'm dead tired. They are very similar. Both mean very tired, but the feeling is slightly different. I'm exhausted can sound a little more neutral. You can use it in more situations. I'm dead tired feels more emotional, more casual, more like you're telling a close friend, wow, today was really hard.
Let's practice. I'll describe a situation. You decide if I'm dead tired fits. Ready? You spent all day moving furniture into a new house. At night, you sit down and cannot move anymore. Would you say I'm dead tired? Yes, perfect. Now another situation. You had a relaxing day at home. You watched your favorite show, you took a nap. Would you say I'm dead tired? Probably not. That would sound strange.
Now let's practice pronunciation. Listen carefully. Dead tired. The two words connect naturally. Dead tired, not dead tired. Say it smoothly. Dead tired. Now the whole sentence. I'm dead tired. Great job.
Let's listen to a natural conversation. Hey Nora, are you joining us for dinner tonight?
I wish I could, but I'm dead tired.
Really? What happened?
I had a long day at work, then I went shopping and helped my sister move some things.
Wow, no wonder you're tired.
Exactly. I think my sofa is calling my name tonight. Here's another conversation.
How was your hiking trip?
Amazing. The views were beautiful. But after walking for 6 hours, I was dead tired.
I can imagine. Did you sleep well?
The best sleep I've had in weeks.
That is the power of learning expressions. Instead of saying the same sentence again and again, You can choose words that match your experience. You can show how tired you are, why you're tired, and what kind of tiredness you feel. That's what makes your English sound alive.
Let's review our seventh expression. I'm dead tired. Remember, use it when you're extremely tired. Use it in casual situations. Use it with friends and people you know well. Avoid using it in very formal situations.
So now we have learned 7 natural ways to say I'm tired, but we have one final expression left. And this last one is one of the most creative expressions in English. It uses a picture from everyday life, something everyone understands. It describes a person who has no energy left, but somehow they are still continuing. Let's discover our final expression next. Welcome back, everyone. You made it to the final part of today's lesson, and before we finish, I want you to realize something important. Today, you didn't just learn new words. You learned how native speakers think about feelings. You learned that one simple feeling can have many different expressions. Instead of always saying, I'm tired, you can now choose the expression that matches your real situation.
Exactly. Let's imagine you're having a conversation with a friend. Your friend asks, "How was your day?" Before today, maybe you would only answer, "I'm tired." But now you have many choices. Maybe you say, "I'm exhausted. It was a very busy day." Or, "I'm beat. I worked in the garden all afternoon." Or, "I'm drained. I had so many meetings today." Or, "I can barely keep my eyes open. I need to sleep." Your answer becomes more interesting and more natural.
Now, let's practice a complete conversation. Imagine Nora and I are meeting at a coffee shop after a long week. Listen carefully. Try to notice which expressions we use. Hey, Nora, it's great to see you. How was your week?
Honestly, it was a very busy week. I'm happy it's finally Friday.
I understand. You look a little tired. Everything okay?
Yes, everything is okay. I'm just exhausted. I had so much work this week.
I know that feeling. I had 3 important meetings today. My brain feels completely drained.
3 meetings in one day? Wow, no wonder you feel that way.
Exactly. And yesterday, I stayed up late finishing a project. This morning, I could barely keep my eyes open.
That sounds difficult. You definitely need some rest.
I do. Actually, after this coffee, I'm going home.
Good idea. I also had a busy weekend. I helped my family move into a new house. By Sunday night, I was completely wiped out.
Moving is hard work. Were you able to relax afterward?
A little, but I still had many things to do. Honestly, I was running on empty.
Wow, you really need a break.
I agree. Tonight, I'm going to have a quiet evening. No work, no stress, just rest.
That sounds like the perfect plan.
Did you notice something? In that short conversation, we used many different expressions. We didn't repeat, "I'm tired." Instead, we explained exactly how we felt. That's the secret to natural English. Don't just learn words, learn situations. Learn when people actually use those words.
Now, let's practice a quick review challenge. I'll give you a situation. Try to choose the best expression. You can answer out loud. Ready? You are watching television at midnight. Your eyes are closing. What do you say? Yes, I can barely keep my eyes open. Great. You finished a difficult 10-hour workday. Your energy is completely gone. What do you say? I'm exhausted. Excellent. You spent the whole afternoon playing sports with friends. Now you're relaxing at home. What do you say? I'm beat. Perfect. You studied for an important exam all day. Your brain feels completely tired. What do you say? I'm drained. Amazing. You traveled all day and finally reached your hotel. You have no energy left. What do you say? I'm wiped out. Great job.
Now, let's talk about one more important learning tip. When you learn a new expression, don't only memorize the meaning. Create a personal connection. For example, if you learn "I'm running on empty," remember a day when you felt that way. Maybe after a long work day, maybe after a difficult exam, maybe after a busy family event. When a word connects to your own experience, your brain remembers it much better.
Another great practice method is the 3-sentence challenge. Choose one new expression, then make 3 sentences. For example, with I'm exhausted. Sentence 1. I'm exhausted after cleaning the whole house. Sentence 2. She was exhausted after the long trip. Sentence 3. We felt exhausted after the competition. Simple practice like this can slowly build your confidence.
And remember, you don't need perfect English to start speaking. Many learners wait too long. They think, I will speak when my grammar is perfect. But confidence comes from practice. Speak, make mistakes, learn, try again. Every conversation makes you better.
Today, you upgraded one small sentence, but this small change can make a big difference. Instead of saying only, I'm tired, you can now express yourself in 8 natural ways. Let's say them one final time together. I'm sleepy. I'm exhausted. I'm beat. I'm wiped out. I'm drained. I can barely keep my eyes open. I'm dead tired. I'm running on empty.
Amazing work today. Keep listening, keep repeating, and most importantly, keep using English in your daily life. The more you use these expressions, the more natural they will feel. Maybe tomorrow, when someone asks, How are you? You won't automatically say, I'm tired. Maybe you'll choose a better expression, a more specific expression, a more natural expression.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today on Enjoy English with Liam and Nora. We hope this lesson helped you speak English with more confidence. Keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, small improvements every day create big results over time. In our next lesson, we'll continue learning more useful everyday English expressions that native speakers really use. See you there!